Hey, coming to you with our second episode of Champions Perspective. I'm Smitty, coming to you live from the Smitty Dome. Today, our special guest is none only than 2014 fantasy football champion, Brian Puffer.
Thanks for having me, Rye. I appreciate it.
Hey, Puff, good to have you, buddy.
Glad to be broadcasting through the Smitty Dome. Looking good over there. I like your sign there. Ben does suck.
Led Zeppelin one?
The Zeppelin one is awesome.
Yeah.
But so is your baby screen there. Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, that one.
You know, it's just my kid messing around with letters and stuff. I don't know.
Your kid can spell well, let me tell you. Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate the invite. Glad to be a part of the Champions Ring. It's a small select group of us. I don't know how Davis got on there, but apparently he's the commish, so he can get on there for the first one. So glad to be a part of the second show.
Special guest appearance by Adam Davis, the commissioner. You know, it was great to have him here. You know, we got some good insight out of him for the divisions, going over some draft details for the guys who can make it. You know, you're out there in Texas, you know, kind of hot. But enough of that, Puff. Let's get right to it, buddy. Today, as we talked before the show, we're going to go over first and second round picks of the 2016 season.
Yeah, first and second picks. They could be they can make your team or break your team.
Oh,
We've seen it before.
That's a great point, Brian. Brian, why don't you start off? What the heck is that thing? Why don't you start off with the 1 through 3 guys, and and I'll take it. I'll take the 3 after that. You take the 3 after that.
So taking a look at this draft from last year, you know, Antonio Brown, Odell Beckham Jr., and David Johnson right out of the gates. Timmy and Ron, Coleslaw. Those are some pretty solid picks. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Antonio Brown was the number 1 scoring receiver last year. Odell Beckham finished 4th. So 2 very solid picks in the first two picks. David Johnson, Cole got a steal right there. I'm sorry, not Cole. Amanda, she picked right on the money with the number 1 scoring fantasy footballer last year. So 3 dynamite picks.
3, yeah. They definitely deserve to go 1, 2, 3. I actually reached out to Amanda in a text to see if she'd take my first round pick this year. Waiting for a reply there.
Yeah. Cole's been shopping. He's been shopping.
Let me move on from there. We got Ezekiel Elliott. You know, boy, what a rookie stud he was. I believe he was on Chase's team last year. Boy, he got lucky with that guy.
Yeah, a little bit of a reach, but I think it was a good pick. Obviously, it turned out to be a good pick.
Yeah, you know what? He was number 2 scoring for running backs last year. I don't have his overall in front of me. Number 5, Adrian Peterson. What did you think about him, Puff?
Well, you know, age does play a factor eventually. I think he's probably a bust.
Yeah, we're gonna
versus last year. So Davis was looking on 2014, 2013 type numbers from AP. He got a little starstruck, I think.
Good point. Number 6, we got Julio Jones picked up by first timer this year, Billy Kovac. Strong pick, you know, for a new guy. I mean, how are you going to go wrong with number 6 scoring last year? You know, so that was a pretty good pickup. Puff, why don't you jump on 7 through 9?
Yeah, I mean 7 through 9. DeAndre Hopkins, I'd say for the most part was a bust. Didn't do much, and unfortunately, you know, being down here in Houston, I can tell you that he didn't have a quarterback to throw to him. So that was terrible. And hey, Le'Veon Bell missed the first 4 games, but I tell you what, the guy, I don't know if Smith has some stats in front of him, but definitely in my mind a top 3 or 4 running back last year.
You're right. You're right on it, Puff. Le'Veon Bell, number 3 in overall point scoring. He was 12 points behind number 2, Ezekiel Elliott, but, almost 85 points behind David Johnson.
Yeah, very well. And 4 less games, mind you. So
a great point.
Yeah. And I can tell you, Cam Newton, firsthand knowledge, that was a bust. Had a couple big games, but, I was riding his MVP season versus the year prior. Didn't really work out. So.
It's tough. He's he's a young guy. He wants to win all the time. He's the first quarterback off the board. Tom Brady, I believe, was under suspension. You had Aaron Rodgers to choose from, Drew Brees, but you went with Cam Newton.
Not a very good choice.
In hindsight, believe me, we all wanted him on our team at the draft, Bri. Let's hit 10 through 12 here. Todd Gurley. I'm just going to start off and say, bust. The guy did not live up to 2016 as he did for 2015, as he just blew it away there.
That's what we call a sophomore slump.
Oh, good point. Let's hope some of our other rookies that were last year showing up this year do not hit that. Ezekiel Elliott being one, even though he could have a 6-game suspension. Maybe we should have touched on that more while we were there.
Yeah, well, pretty sure it's a certainty.
Number 11, Rob Gronkowski, picked up by the championship 2016. Bust. Holy cow! I missed on that one due to injury, Bri. He really had a tough time staying on the field.
Yeah, can't do anything like when you have as many injuries as he has. Gets tougher and tougher to pick him at year after year. So still a number 1 tight end though. Yep. When he's in there, I believe he's over 100 yards per game. So you can't go wrong with Rob Gronkowski when he's healthy.
Good point, Puff. Number 12, rounding out the first round, was A.J. Green. I believe he got it off to a good start. Injury showed up just to not make him a first-round pick. Bri, do you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, you can't predict the injury bug, but unfortunately, A.J. Green is a top 3 receiver in anybody's mind. And normally he is, but last year just didn't work out for him. So I like him. I like the way he plays. I hope it works out for him this year.
Yep. Good point, Bri. Bri, let's snake on over to round 2. We're going to mention A.J. Green was picked up by Pete, who took 2 and 11 last year. So far, in hindsight, his draft is looking pretty good. How's his 13th pick look, Bri? Yeah,
looking pretty solid. Doug Martin coming off of a fantastic year the year before with Tampa Bay. Showed some strong posted some strong numbers. But quite frankly, I believe you could put him down as a bust.
Yep, bust it is.
Yeah. And, Smith, coming back to you, Allen Robinson, Jacksonville, I tell you what, I heard the other day that Blake Bortles might even not be on the roster midway through the season. So, unfortunately, they have some quarterback woes there. Bust.
Breaks my heart hearing about Bortles. Breaks my heart.
Yeah. That was, you rode him right all the way to the championship, I think, one year.
Yeah. 2015, he did take me to the championship and won it all for me.
Yep. But, hey, what about a big hit for Tribe Time, hitting the Devontae Freeman? What a great pick that pick was. Played really well, had a great season. Part of the dual back, which you don't see often. You don't see a two-headed monster backfield. You don't see a guy like Devontae Freeman post the numbers that he did, but he did. And so did Coleman. So good backfield.
Devontae Freeman, number 6 overall in running back scoring. I don't even see Kevin Coleman in the top 15. So they're feeding him enough.
Yep.
Let's jump down to 16 through 18. You turn around, you pick Lamar Miller. Lamar Miller at Houston running back. I mean, little did we know you were going to be moving to Texas, and here you are picking up another running back.
Right.
Well, I think firsthand here, we know he's a bust. Come down to Shoals, turn around, Des Bryant. I believe he was hurt in the middle of the year. Started turning it on at the end. Looking at the numbers here, everything.
Yeah, I don't think Dez and Dak Prescott got on the same page for. It took them at least 3 or 4 weeks before they finally decided they'd play ball together. But when you're a quarterback and you're a high-profile wide receiver, kudos to Dak Prescott for not giving in and trying to get him the ball every single play. But that pissed Dez off, and man, I tell you what, you could definitely see that over a few weeks. But eventually they got their stuff together and started playing Dallas football. So
you're right. So we wouldn't call Dez a bust there in that second round, would we, Brad?
No, I think that's a good spot for Dez. I think
very, very unlike this next pick with Eddie Lacy to Scully. You know what? Let's see, what did he take over here? He picked DeAndre Hopkins. Holy cow! Who had a dump, and Eddie Lacy in the second round.
Dump.
I mean, Scully got 2 turnarounds. Not unlike the champion of that year, me. 2 first round, second round duds.
Yeah. Well, then Eddie Lacy coming off again. He's playing with the Packers. He comes in a little fat. He doesn't really do what he's supposed to do the season, or in the off season, and he gets traded. It didn't work out for him. But you take a look at Bill Kovac, man. Billy takes Julio Jones, 6th pick overall, comes back around for another wide receiver at Amari Cooper. Now, an interesting strategy, but hey, 2 solid receivers. And I don't know, Rye, if you have the stats on Amari Cooper, but
I sure do. I sure do, Brian. He was 13 in points. So he had Julio getting him 260 points and Amari Cooper at 232 points.
Can't ask for anything more than that from 2 starting receivers.
Hey, for your rookie draft, that's a good deal.
Absolutely. That's one you don't want to see come off the sophomore slump, Amari Cooper.
Good point.
But Brandon Marshall, I'd say from a Brandon Marshall standpoint, that was a bust of a season for him.
Oh, bust of the season.
Yeah, I don't think he played quite to his potential. So I think Davis got bit by the, hey, I'm going to look at my 2013 glasses.
Oh,
I'm going to take Adrian Peterson, number 1 running back in 2013, and then I'm going to get Brandon Marshall, who was a top 3 receiver back then. Didn't quite pan out for him. 3 years makes a difference, brother.
Hey, you know what they say about history, Brian? If you forget about it, you'll repeat it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. But then Mac comes through. We saw Mac had a solid season by your last episode here, Rye. But you can tell why. He had, Zeke Elliott, and then he comes back with Mike Evans. Mike Evans, he's the man in Tampa Bay. What can I say?
Absolutely. They're number 1. They've added some more firepower since then, but Mike Evans still a number 1 go-to. Coming back for the second round for Cole Marshall, Jamal Charles. Guy's a special talent. Was he last year? No. Picked up by the Denver Broncos in free agency, so, we'll see how that goes. Turn around to Ron, we got Mark Ingram. I'm not sure what running backs were still on the board there. It seems like there'd still be some meat on the bone.
Well, I see LaShawn McCoy gets picked next.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, great point.
DeMarco Murray doesn't go till 38. I can see it on the bottom of your screen there, Rye.
Yep. So Mark Ingram, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Mark Ingram was number 7 in points. Not that it was a bad pick for second round. I'm okay with that pick.
Yeah.
Nice job there, Ron.
Good pick.
We'll come down to Timmy at the end of the second round. He picks Alshon Jeffrey, who did not have a very good year at all.
Yeah, you could say that he had some issues. He had some issues last year. Unfortunately, he wasn't his old Chicago self back in Philly there. Nope.
And then we'll have to see how he does this year. Did he get traded this year, Puff?
I believe he did. I don't remember where he went, but
yeah, I don't remember where he went either.
Yeah, I'm sure he won't be a second rounder. That's for sure. Or maybe he will. I'm not really sure.
Well, hey, let's
I don't
not
make
put
the
past
picks,
people. People have favorites, Bri.
I don't pick everybody's.
The next episode, maybe we can get into a draft review of this year's 2017 guys and where we think they're going to go in the 1 through 12 rounds.
Yeah.
What do you think about that, Brian? You interested in coming back?
Absolutely. But I do want to touch on something, right? I found it interesting and something I think we should point out here. You take a look at these first 2 rounds, and we always stress the importance of the first 2 rounds. But 13, if you count them, 13 out of 24 of those people ended up being valuable assets on your team. So, that the remainder of those were bust. And
well, that's a great point, Brian. We can't stress enough how important 1 and 2 picks are, and it looks like we missed on a lot of them.
Yeah. But there's many ways to build your team, and certainly the first and second picks are important. But you can see, judging by Smitty's first 2 picks, as the champ, I say you pretty much built that thing through the draft or through the trade wire.
Trading free agency. That's for sure. I did have a crummy draft. Brian, I'm going to shut us down here before I go. I just want to remind everybody that Pete Lamb taking last year. I got to name his team. I actually put out a poll. Everybody put in some names, in the pick that was liked the most was Lamb Chumps. Kind of taking off of lamb chops, I figure. I think it's going to suit his team well this year. Would have done well for him last year.
Where does Pete pick this year? Do we know?
Yeah, Pete is picking number 11, I believe.
Oh, same spot? No, that was you, right?
Yeah, I was number 11 last year.
He was 12. Oh, man, Peter Lamb.
All right, Brad, appreciating you hanging out with me today at the Smitty Dome, buddy.
Thank you, sir.
Why don't you have a great rest of the night?
Champions perspective.
Best of luck to you in this upcoming draft.
Cheers.
Cheers, buddy.